Now I want you to think of the last really good movie that you saw. I'll give you a second. Alright, now raise your hands if that movie was animated. Not so many of you. Okay, well, I want to know why that is. Now, the question I'm going to pose for this TED Talk is, what is it in the entertainment industry that encourages viewers to value live action or real movies more than animation ones? What is it that animation lacks? I'd argue that it's nothing. Animation has the exact same components that live action movies do, save for the visuals. Let's see, they have real human actors, which are used for both the voices and also 3D modeling and rotoscoping. Rotoscoping is where they take real human footage and draw over it. Let's see, they also have music, sound effects, and a story. And I mean, every piece of film has music, sound effects, and a story, right? So what is it that makes animation something different, something that's just for kids, something that's inferior? Now, there's been this new evil in the animation industry that's growing in and driving people away from animation. This evil is live action movie remakes. Now, I think we all can agree in here that these remakes are getting ridiculous. I mean, last year when The Little Mermaid came out and I saw these pictures of Sebastian and Flounder, I was scared. I thought they were fake. Another example is The Lion King, which got its remake in 2019. Now, this movie doesn't have any humans in it, and it seems kind of pointless if you're going to make it into a live action movie. Now, that's what everyone else was wondering. The idea was so absurd that Disney went and made it anyway. And what happened was this. $1.66 billion. Yeah, this movie made over $1.5 billion. But it only got a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. And if you didn't know, Rotten Tomatoes is a system where certified film critics will deem in simple terms if a movie is good or bad. And a 52% isn't really good at all. I mean, whatever 48% this movie could have had, it didn't. And in contrast, the original from 1994 got a whopping 93% in Rotten Tomatoes. The live action one, people thought was lackluster, plain, and downright emotionless. I mean, the lions, they can't cry, they can't laugh or smile, and we're supposed to believe that they can sing. I mean, but it made the money. I mean, it brought in the money, so Disney just did not stop after that. And I won't bully Disney. They're not the only culprits of this live action movie remake frenzy. I mean, just this year, Avatar: The Last Airbender got a remake on Netflix, and coming soon, How to Train Your Dragon. I know, it's a little unsatisfying, right? I mean, these were my favorite films growing up, and today, they're still my favorite. So why touch greatness? I mean, what is there to improve on? So I'm going to go back to the beginning. What's the very first remake that started this whole train? How many here have seen Cinderella, the original one from 1950? Okay, most of us? Okay. Well, 65 years later, it got a remake, and it wasn't bad. I'll give you two reasons why. One, there's not many animals in this movie. I mean, there was a few CGI animated mice, but, I mean, even the cat's real. But, sorry, Lucifer, but you're not important enough to the story to be showing all your big, fierce emotions like you do in the animation. So there's no reason to make him CGI. This movie is centered around Cinderella, a prince, her stepsisters, a fairy godmother, and a ball. So it's all very feasible in a live-action movie. My second point is that this movie is old. I mean, the animation is beautiful and charming, but in modern-day standards, it could be better. So this movie, this remake, only enhanced what was already beautiful in the original, not downright replaced it. And people like that. So this movie got an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it earned $542 million. So fans liked it, Disney liked the money, so why not continue with the trend? Well, okay, what happened after 2015? Well, it all went downhill from there. Let me list off some remakes you may or may not have seen. We got Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan, and Pinocchio. Now, Disney has made 17 live-action movie remakes in the past 10 years alone, actually since 2015. And each and every one of these was once a beautifully animated film. And they only seem to be getting worse. I mean, take Pinocchio, which was remade in 2022. This movie, remember what I said about the Rotten Tomatoes scoring? This movie got a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, everybody hated it, and it only gets worse with Mulan. Now, the original, it was beautiful in every single way. From 1998, it had beautiful animation, beautiful story, music, characters. So, okay, what is there to improve on? Okay, how about we make it super realistic and get rid of all the songs and get rid of Mushu. Mushu's gone. And, okay, how about we film it in Xinjiang, which holds Chinese internment camps? I know. So this problem, I hate to remind you again, but this problem wouldn't have happened if we'd kept it animated, because you can animate from literally anywhere in the entire world with just a computer or a piece of paper. These movies make their money from their controversies. I mean, we have the Lion King controversy, the Mulan controversy, and the Little Mermaid controversy, which I won't get into, but to sum it up, people are racist. I mean, they do this on purpose. When people talk about how terrible and soulless these movies are, that only gives them attention. I mean, I'm giving them attention right now, but let's change that. I'm here to tell you how underappreciated animation is. Now, the thing that animation has that live action doesn't is this: suspension of disbelief. Take Shrek, for example. Now, Shrek is rooted in fantasy elements. I mean, we have an ogre, a talking donkey, and a fire-breathing dragon. So try and picture this movie, but entirely in realistic CGI and actors. Try imagining Puss in Boots, but as a real cat. It feels a little bit like a parody, right? Animation doesn't need realistically CGI animals or actors or stunt doubles. Everything is just drawn. It will make you believe a whole other world exists, a whole other universe. So since animation's being replaced, animators are creating irreplaceable movies. In 2018, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was released. It combines 3D rendering and 2D hand-drawn animation. And before this movie, it wasn't really done before. This movie took 5 years and a team of 800 people to create, and it got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, ever since then, I mean, you could never recreate this movie in live action, and that's the point. So ever since then, there's been this 2D, 3D bandwagon that animation studios have been hopping on, and there's plenty of examples I could give you, but I'll give you just one. Take Arcane, for example. Now, Arcane uses this combination of animation as well, and it's not even for kids either. I mean, this movie has sex, drugs, violence, and major adult themes, and people wonder why it was animated, because animation is just a kid's thing. Well, they didn't care. It was a huge success. I mean, this movie got ranked #1 on Netflix in 52 different countries. It got 4 Emmys just for its animation alone. This show got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, you can't get any better than that. So, they got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they made this from their heart. I mean, they didn't make it for money or a cash grab. They made it because they wanted to, and people want to replace animation. Now, I used to assume that I used to assume that there was some sorry. I used to assume that there was something inherently more valuable with seeing real human faces on screen than seeing drawings. But as we discussed with Arcane, it still has the same skill and the same emotional depth as real live action does. And it even has a creative touch that you can't quite replace with humans and actors. So animation takes time and it takes effort. Just like actors and cameras and stunt doubles, they all take time and effort. One is not inferior to the other. They're just different mediums to tell a different story. Now, I made this animation for this TED Talk, and I've been self-teaching myself animation since I was 11, and I plan on going to school for it. And I can tell you from experience that animation is hard. And so the next time you go to see a great movie, just maybe consider the animated one, and it might be just as touching and heartfelt and pleasing to watch. So even though animation is being wiped out, animators are still finding new, inventive ways to become the stunning, amazing, irreplaceable medium that it is. Thank you.
Yeah.